Hello everyone, how are you doing today? Hope you're having a fantastic day. So in today's spotlight, I want to unravel the secret behind the critical path indicator in Primavera P6. Have you ever been faced with project delays or budget overrun or schedule overrun? Let us dive into the world of strategic planning and let us discover how to pinpoint those critical activities that can make or break your project success. Okay, so let's stay tuned as we guide you through mastering the art of staying on schedule every single time. So what are the significance of identifying the critical activities to prevent delays? Okay, so firstly, you need to define what a critical path is. So a critical path is the longest part in your program or the shortest duration in which you can complete your project. Any delay of any activity on a critical path will delay your project end date. It's as simple as that. So what are the importance of critical activities for project planning? Okay, so when you identify the critical activities, you as a project manager or a project planner can allocate resources more effectively. Okay, ensuring that these crucial activities are prioritized and completed on time. So if you're a project planner and your project manager asks you to reduce the duration of the entire project, so the first thing you look at is the activities on the critical path. If you're able to reduce the duration of the activities on the critical path, definitely your program will move to the left. But you have to make sure that while you're adjusting the duration of the critical activities, look out for your near critical activities as well. So those are your activities with smaller value of free float or total float. They might become critical. Okay, so another significance of identifying critical path is risk management. So when you understand the activities that are critical, it will allow you for better risk assessment and risk management. Then you can allocate a risk owner to that particular risk. Okay, it will help you identify where there could be a potential project delays, and you can prepare a effective mitigation strategy in advance. All right, and also effective time management. So when you focus on the critical activities, it prevents wasting time on less important tasks that do not influence the project completion date. So this ensures that the project stays on track. So you focus on the critical activities. So it helps as a good communication tools with the project stakeholders as well. Okay, so when you are aware of the critical activities, it enables the project manager to provide accurate updates to the stakeholders about the project progress and any potential forecasted, project potential risk. Okay, challenges of tracking critical activities in a complex schedule. As we all know that all the activities in red on your Gantt area indicates that they are critical. So all the activities in green are not critical activities because they've got a value for free float and total float in the program. Okay, so tracking them this way has its limitation as well. So just looking at the critical activities, in red has its own limitation, as we'll see in a bit in Primavera P6. Okay, when you're managing complex projects as well, there can be hundreds or thousands of activities. This complexity makes it difficult to visually scan and identify critical tasks on the Gantt area. You have 1,000, 10,000 activities in your program. So just scanning through the entire program for activities in red on the Gantt area does not give you the information you might actually require to identify the critical path. You might be missing some activity in a way. Okay, projects are dynamic, just like I mentioned to you earlier on. When you are identifying the critical activities, you need to focus also on the near critical activities as well. Okay, so risk of overlooking important tasks, like we mentioned earlier on, in the sea of tasks represented in a Gantt chart, there's a risk that some activities that are critical might be overlooked, especially if they are not distinctively highlighted or if the project manager is relying solely on visual cues. Okay, so if you have a very important activities, maybe poor concrete, and it's just one day, okay, it might just be tiny on your Gantt area. You might not even see that as a red activity. So just looking at the visual view or visual cue might actually give you the right representation of the critical activities in your program. Okay, so that's why you need additional tools in P6 to actually identify these critical activities, like we're gonna see in a minute. Okay, so there are some benefits. I've just captured two in here, so it quickly helps to pinpoint critical tasks. Okay, so when you have the indicator, go to global change, to identify the critical activities, which helps you. Okay, it enhances decision making as well. So you can instantly focus on your attention on some potential bottlenecks. Okay, enabling proactive risk mitigation and resource allocation as well. So how do you do it in P6? So these are the steps. So first you need to do is to create a user-defined field, and name it critical activity indicator, or you can give it a name, that you want. Then the next thing is to go to your global change and create a global change and run the global change, okay? And display your activity table. And you can actually add a filter to filter out all the important critical activities as well, okay? So we'll not jump into P6 to see how it's been done. So I'm in P6 now. Although ideally, when you add this column to your project or your program, it tells you the activities that are critical. This is one way to look at your critical activities, okay? So you can actually say, okay, you can go to your filter as well, create a filter and just click on this and apply. Gives you the activities that are critical. That's one way to do it, okay? So that's one way to do it. So you just filter out all the critical activities in your program. So what if you want to do it in another more efficient way? So all you just need to do is to go to your enterprise, then go to user defined field. So you need to add a new field in here under activity. Okay, so just name this one critical activity indicator. Okay, and don't forget, so when you create the user defined field, change it to indicator. Okay, so change it to indicator and just close. So if you want, you can at this point in time, you can actually bring that column out. Just go to your user defined field and go to your critical activity indicator. That's the indicator we've just created, and just bring it in here and click on apply. Okay, so now as you can see, it's empty because we've not defined what makes it red, what makes it green. But if you click on the drop down, you can actually do this manually if you're just tracking few activities and say, okay, when it is red, it is critical, and when it is green, it is non-critical. Okay, but how do you do that for all activity just with one push of a button? So that's when the global change comes in. Okay, so all you want to do is just go to your tools and click on global change. Okay, when you click on global change, you create a new global change. So when you create a new global change, make sure you're under activity as well. Then you can rename this and say critical activity indicator. Okay, so you name that as your global change. So now what you want to do here is search for critical. Okay, so just click on critical here. As you can see, all the critical activity are ticked in these boxes. Okay, so that's your critical activity. That's what we're trying to say essentially there. Critical activity is equal to yes. So we're looking for activities that are critical. Okay, so another thing you need to be cognizant of, if you've been using user-defined fields to do something else on critical activities, you might find that you have some different critical list in here. So you have to go into that user-defined field and probably rename it so you can actually see the one that you need for this exercise. Okay, so I've got my critical defined as, okay, critical activity is equal yes. So next thing you want to go to, then what happens? Okay, so then you add a new parameter. So now you now say when it is yes, then the critical activity indicator that we created, which is this one, will be equal to what? Red. All right, then if not, then else. You click on, okay, critical activity indicator equals to what? Green. So if it's not critical, it's green, and if it is critical, what? It's red. So just click on OK. Okay, when you click on OK, so that's your critical activity indicator. You can use it, sometimes in the future as well. It's been created now. All you just need to do is to click on apply change. Okay, so let's just click on apply change. By the time we do that, see what will happen to this column that's empty now. So it asks you, the global change contains parameter that cannot be cancelled after viewing the report. Do you wish to continue? I would say yes. Okay, so it's telling me now here that old value is 0. So the value that I have in this column, the old value, there's nothing there. So that's what it means by it, empty. It's empty. This entire area is empty. Okay, but the new value now is red. In some cases it is red, in some cases this is what it is green. Okay, so that's all the activities I've got in this program. So all the values, old values are red, and the new values are either green or red. Old value empty, but the new values are either green or red. So what you just need to do here is to click on commit changes. Okay, and it will ask you if you want to save the log file. If you want, by all means, just click on save. Then you can select a folder on your computer to save it. But in this case, now I don't need to save it, so I just click on no. So when I click on no, immediately you see what has happened to this column. It's created the indicators. So as you can see, it tallies with the activities that actually got this plus ticked as well. So when the box is ticked, you see it is red, and when it's not ticked, it's green. Okay, so you can close. So as you can see here, you can actually, even without looking at the Gantt area, you can tell the activity that it's quite obvious compared to this small box that is not too obvious. It's quite obvious, the activity that are actually red or the ones that are actually, green. So you can actually use this to identify your critical path. So if you want as well, you can actually group and sort your activities based on critical and non-critical. So how do you do that? Just go to your group and sort. So instead of sorting it as WBS, you can actually sort it as critical path indicator. So just critical activity indicator and click on apply. Okay, so when you do that, as you can see here, so you see green and red. So all the activities at the top are the activities that are not critical, and the ones at the bottom are the activities that are critical. If you want it to be grouped underneath a WBS as well, you just go back to your group and sort, and you make sure the first one is WBS. All right, then just click on this indent and click on the second one and say it's critical path indicator. Select this one and click on apply. So what that does is that for each WBS, it's showing you what's non-critical, then what's critical, what's non-critical, then what's critical for each WBS. So for this design and development now, it's divided into two. Some activities in there are critical, so you can actually check if each WBS represents a particular scope of work. You can actually check in that scope of work, which of these activities are critical, which of these activities are not critical in your project. Okay, I hope this is clear. If you have any question at all, just drop it in the comment section below, then I'll be happy to respond. If you like this content, please be sure to like and subscribe to my channel. So I will see you